So contractual obligations is once more one of those stages where you need to do some A presses. Now, I've already done this part right here because this is not a new save, but just very quickly go over this. You know what happens here, you get caught by Snatcher, he talks to you a bit, and the problem is at the end of that, he gives you a contract, and you need to press the A button once to sign the contract. Meaning that when you talk to Snatcher here, he gives you a contract, one A press. However, that A press, you could argue that if you use, for example, mouse and keyboard, once again, same thing as with all the other stuff I've talked to about before, like at the very end of Deadbird Studio, where I said, well, it's a menu A press, and you can do that with mouse and keyboard with a button equivalent that isn't the A button, by using a button that just isn't on the controller. Then yeah, it's not the A button, it's not the equivalent of the A button, which would be spacebar, but it still does it, so is it really an A press? But yeah, looking past that though, we have pretty much one A press until this point. And you could also argue that, well, right now, if we're doing the stage like this, we don't even have any A presses. You know, we don't even have any A presses. But I don't know if you would even count this. One way or the other, I would say though that this stage is definitely a 0A. I'm not even going to put this up for debate. This is a 0A press because you can either do it like this or you can come in later. Like you can either use keyboard or you come in later. Like what I'm doing right now, you can come in later into the stage after you've already beaten it, and that's 0A press. The rather important part is, can you do the, like, I think menuing is not even the thing that's important. Do you guys really care about menuing when you can do it? You can do your stuff with the keyboard and mouse anyway. I mean, most people even told me already, like, yeah, no problem if you can do it with mouse and keyboard and use the button equivalent that isn't the A button. No problem with that. Like, people have already told me that they really don't mind. So, I really don't think that's anything worth talking about. Good. Instead, let's just focus on the actual stage, and as it turns out, the actual stage is, yeah, really simple. So now here there would be a second A press with the other Snatcher talking to us and giving us our second contract, but once again, we don't really care about menuing right now. In my book, this is a 0A, but you could argue that it is a 2A press, which I would be like, yeah, you can argue that, no problem. And I won't say anything against that. But at least let's call it that way. In my book, this is a 0A. Also because if you go in later into the stage like I did right then, it is a 0A. So it's a bit wishy-washy, but like I said, to me, 0A.